My name is Richard Preston, and I'm a farmer from central Kentucky. I raise corn, soybeans, wheat, and milo. We have an operation that currently is about 2,500 acres. We are interested in raising niche markets. We raise non-GMO beans, non-GMO corn. We also raise food-grade yellow corn, food-grade white corn, to look for the niche markets. That's one way that we survive here in central Kentucky, where the soils just aren't quite as good as they might be in some other places. I kind of got to this operation a little bit differently than most people. When I was in high school, I thought I was going to be a professional baseball player, and that didn't quite work out. So I was awarded a scholarship in science and was able to pursue a career in chemistry, theoretical chemistry, where I graduated with a chemistry degree, not an ag degree, from University of Kentucky. Went on to Yale University and received a PhD, and went on to Berkeley to do postdoctoral work. So I got to see a lot of the best universities on both sides of the country. It was really a great experience. But I always wanted to farm, and because I always wanted to farm, as soon as I was able to save up enough money from my job as a laser physicist at Los Alamos National Laboratories, I went back to the farm and started a combination hog operation and grain farm. And through the years, with my family I had 2 children, and with my family we decided to grow this operation. It's a little different because I'm a first-generation farmer. This is the first generation in the family to be a farmer. It's always what I wanted to do. And so, you know, as we went on, the hog operation evolved, and eventually, as the town came to my farm, urbanization forced me out of the hog operation. It was just not compatible with subdivisions, as one can imagine. And I became a grain farmer. In order to use my workforce, I developed a system for niche marketing, where we rely not just on a volume of grain, but on producing particular products for particular markets. I like to think of myself as the Victoria's Secret of agriculture, not Walmart. You know, if you think about a big company, a big farm up in central Illinois, they're worried about productivity, and what I'm worried about is marketability. It's a different angle. I want to produce something that the customers want, and that's the angle I use to survive farming in central Kentucky. All my operation is no-till. Probably a better word would be never-till. We never really want to break any of the soil up if at all possible. We have a strong commitment to conservation, and no-till is the cornerstone of this commitment. But we go on and introduce buffer strips around our fields and around our streams. We use buffer strips both that are paid for by the government, or in the buffer strip CRP program, and then I also put buffer strips on that are not, because if you really think about it, you don't get much yield next to the woods. That's all feed for the deer and the raccoons, so why not put buffer strips there? So we're looking to the future all the time. We want to make sure that we leave the farms that I farm a little better than I got them.
What do you feel are the biggest challenges of being a farmer today?
Oh, by far the biggest challenge is the incredible volatility in the markets and in our inputs. It's very difficult to plan ahead when the price of your product might be $15 a bushel for soybeans, and it might be $5 a bushel for soybeans. So the biggest problem I have is this huge volatility. Potash was $1,000 a ton last year. It's $480 a ton this year. So managing that risk is the biggest challenge that I face.
What about consumer perception? How do you feel that plays into being a challenge?
Well, I feel like I'm fairly fairly lucky. In central Kentucky, there is still a recognition of the importance of farmers, and I know our county government understands how important we are for economic development. For example, just 3 years ago I spent $330,000 operating my farm. Farm's the same size, but now I spent over $1 million. Now that money went into the local economy, that money went into the state economy, and I think that the government, the local government and the state government recognize that in Kentucky, and that's really good. You don't want the government to be against what you're doing. And as far as the people, I think for the most part they understand what we're doing and understand that we're producing them an economical supply of food and we're producing it safely. And I think that's how we deal with our perception issue. It's really being a good neighbor. If you have a line of traffic behind your combine, you pull over. That's how you really deal with the public perception.